So it's no secret people had vilified me for warning all of you that the beloved Dr. Fauci is a phony fake fraud. On this program, over and over again, we pointed out his persistent lies and misdirections. We did it again just last night, in fact. And now we have more proof of his deception. I have had a chance to review many of his more than 3,000 emails obtained by the Washington Post through a Freedom of Information request. They are troubling, to say the least. As early as February 2020, scientists were warning Dr. Fauci that, quote, features of the virus potentially look engineered. A doctor from Cornell Medical emailed Dr. Fauci revealing, we think that there is a possibility that the virus was released from a lab in Wuhan, the biotech area of China. We also think that the virus might be complexed with another organism, such as a yeast or fungus, to make it more sticky. Now consider that from a doctor at Cornell. That would mean the virus was purposefully weaponized. Yet despite the warnings that China could be a bad actor in releasing the deadly virus on the world, Dr. Fauci simply forwarded that email to a National Institute of Health director, the sole comment, please handle. So even though Fauci knew of the potential Chinese lab leak of a bioweapon, Dr. Fauci offered the world this instead.
The mutations that it took to get to the point where it is now is totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human.
When we have so many diseases that emanate out of that unusual human-animal interface,
our Chinese colleagues are very concerned.
Do you trust them to be honest and forthcoming?
Well, I think you have to have a difference between the scientists in China and the Chinese government. Our experience with the scientists have been that they have been of good faith.
Look, folks, the fact is, he has never stopped covering for China to this very day. So these emails may expose Dr. Fauci as being the lead man in a massive cover-up here. But my concern goes far beyond Dr. Fauci. It shows the power government bureaucrats hold over our society. Dr. Fauci is just one man, yet he set national policy. We as a nation delegate too much authority to these career government insiders. His emails provide us a window into how the deep state perceives all of us. Here, Dr. Fauci cozies up with a now fired New York Times reporter that emails Fauci this. Ready for the quote? But the truth is that a lot of average Chinese behaved incredibly heroically in the face of the virus. Meanwhile, in America, people tend to act like selfish pigs interested only in saving themselves. How can I hoard a mask? Where is my vaccine? Well, it's how Dr. Fauci responds to this email that's so troubling. He says, quote, you make some very good points. Good points? That Americans are selfish pigs? That people are so afraid they desperately collect masks and they nervously long for a vaccine solely due to Dr. Fauci's never-ending fear-mongering. These are the people that are selfish? Dr. Fauci is just the face of government disgrace. He agreed it's a good point, that's a quote, that many Chinese acted heroically. Did he forget Chinese leaders let the virus spread across the globe, all the while shutting down travel within its own country, allowing the communist nation to profit off its monopoly on the world's medical supplies? That's not heroic. That is an act of war. And yet today, when Joe Biden's press secretary faced the media, reporters didn't ask her one single question about these Fauci emails, the Fauci files.
Back on the ransomware attack, is the U.S. going to retaliate? And realistically, what options are on the table?
Does the president believe that Vladimir Putin is testing him right now ahead of the summit?
Does the Biden administration still consider herd immunity to be realistic?
During the campaign, Biden promised to host a summit for democracy during the first year of his presidency. Can you give us an update on if that's taking place?
At some point, does he say to his fellow Democrats, we just have to go at it alone? And then does that mean we're going to see more executive orders as a result?
This, folks, makes me steaming mad. This is a blockbuster story, and the media ignores it all. I played you all those clips to prove to you they are not asking the questions that America wants answers to. So now what is clear to me is the collusion between the Biden White House and the mainstream media. These emails are damning. Dr. Fauci should resign. Instead, he will profit from the pandemic. Yes, I said profit. His new book is soon to be released. 10 lessons on truth, service, and the way forward. He's got a book. A better title would be 10 lessons on how to hide the truth, engage in self-service, and move America backwards. Dr. Fauci, it is time to step down, please.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.